It's official. I am officially transferring into NYU this upcoming spring, and I wanted to talk about my transfer application / story, things I did to get in with a 3.4 GPA, which is below the average. So, little agenda. I'm going to talk about why I'm transferring in the first place, why I didn't like my previous school, Virginia Tech, my current stats, including GPA, test scores, extracurriculars, my essay, and also maybe some ways to stand out. Just for clarity, I'm not a college admissions genius, so this is just what I did for my application. By no means, if you take my advice, do I guarantee you're gonna get in or anything, but I'm super excited. Anyways, backstory, my name is Eileen, and I'm transferring as a student into junior year, actually, from Virginia Tech, where I was actually studying finance. I'm originally from Virginia, so that was an in-state school for me, which is definitely a lot more affordable than NYU. So that is gonna be one thing that I'm gonna have to manage, and my plan for finances is to split half and half with my parents and just start the spring semester, see how things go, because financially it is definitely a huge investment that I'm a little bit scared of. But regardless, I'm gonna be studying human-computer interaction and either psychology or marketing. I applied for the School of Individualized Study, which is called Gallatin, and so you can kind of choose your own major. The reason why I applied to this school in particular is because I'm very multi-passionate. I like a lot of things, but I really want to work in product and marketing and eventually build my own startup or product in the future. So I think that is the best path for me. And I honestly just really miss being a student. After taking this gap semester off, I've been working in LA for a startup. While I have absolutely loved it, I really just like learning things. And I think going back to school is gonna be super, super fun. And I'm actually so excited to take classes that I'm genuinely interested in, because back when I was in finance at VT, it was just a bunch of finance bros, and I don't actually want to work in that field either, at least anymore. So that is a tentative plan. Number one, why am I transferring to NYU / why did I not like tech? Gonna go through those before I go into stats and essay, but essentially tech, if you don't know, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's a very big state school. I like to say it's like the Penn State of Virginia. I'm originally from Richmond. Going into college, I kind of had no idea what I wanted to do, so I chose finance because generally I was pretty interested in it. And I did a lot of extracurriculars while I was there. I was part of this commodity investing organization, made some friends, and I had a great experience at tech overall, but I just never really fell in love with the school, to be honest. It's very corporate-y, whereas I'm very creative. I've been creating content for the past 2 years, and so there wasn't a really big community doing that. I'm also really interested in the startup space. At tech, the entrepreneurship community is very small. We do have a entrepreneurship center, but again, there's not that many opportunities for funding. Not a lot of founders go into accelerators or really raise money, and it's kind of viewed as more of a side project instead of a full-time gig. And I am super entrepreneurial. I like taking risks. I like taking unconventional paths. I've been funding myself for the last 2 years, and I really, really crave that passionate, creative, unconventional community that I feel like you can really only find in New York City. On top of corporate culture and then just it being in the middle of nowhere, realistically, it's so hard to network and meet the people that you want. And in New York City, I just feel so alive. I feel like myself. I feel like I can do anything. It's so cliche. Eileen, you're being so corny right now, but that's the truth, and that is why I'm transferring to NYU. Second thing is stats that they asked for. GPA was really bad. When I submitted my application, I had a 3.4. I started college off great. I had a 3.7, and I was really scared that admissions would see the drop. Was doing so many things outside of school that I didn't actually care about school. So at the time I was running a freelance business where I'd basically create a bunch of advertisements for brands, or I would be doing social media management for certain startups, or I joined the consulting club at Virginia Tech. I also joined Commodity Investing by Students, which is one of the finance orgs, so that kept me super busy. I think my philosophy on grades is that they actually don't matter that much. If admissions can see that you're pouring effort into doing actual things. For example, I think coins taught me more about finance and economics than any of my finance classes ever did, because we were researching markets all the time. We were pitching trades and just being really active. So that was my GPA. It was not good at all. High school was another story. They did ask for my high school grades. My high school grades were actually pretty good. I had a 4.5. I was ranked 33 out of around 500 people. And I also submitted my ACT score, which, oh my gosh, so young when I took that, but I got a 34 on the ACT, submitted that. So those were my stats. College-wise, not great. High school, pretty solid, but I think they probably weigh college a little bit more than high school. But this is also proof for you that if your GPA isn't that good, this is literally proof that you can probably make it as well and shine in your essay. Now, next thing, extracurriculars. What did you do, Eileen? Okay, on the screen, I'm gonna put all the extracurriculars that I put in the actual application, but it was a variety of entrepreneurial / creative and marketing related things. So I've done a lot of exploration across personal content. I would say I have a pretty unique background / story, given I wasn't really club president of anything, but in my personal life, I was literally such a broke college student. I was like, bro, I need to make money somehow. And I'm also very creative. I've always loved art. I've always loved music, and I really like making videos. So I think my unique story was actually making videos. Like, I talked about how I was very active on social media. I talked about how I grew my pages. I talked about how I worked with XYZ brands. That brought me into 2 internships, Swish and Versi, which are 2 startups that I absolutely love. And one of them is like a photo sharing album thing. And then the other one is like an in-person community in New York City. I did growth and social media strategy for both of them. But aside from that, I think you guys should just do something that you're really passionate about, because you're just telling a story and trying to sell yourself in admissions. And the essay, which I will talk about now, was the worst thing ever. Essay for me was actually the hardest part, because as someone who is so multi-passionate, I want to talk about a million things. I wrote like 9 different drafts, and when I tell you, I submitted on the dot on the due date at 11:59, and I combined a version of 3 different essays I wrote into one during the last 15 minutes of submission. I'm not even joking. The essay was the scariest part, but rereading it, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. But I'll go ahead and read it to you. I talked about if you want some reference. Essay-wise, here is what I submitted. My life is painted across 962 iPhone vlogs. Racing to the gate before takeoff became a mission impossible adventure in my series Conquering Solo Travel. And documenting my first breakup turned into a teary-eyed reflection, lessons from heartbreak. Initially, it was fun to title snippets of my life, but I soon became more engrossed with the storytelling and companies I could build. Despite growing 200,000 followers and helping several startups lead growth, I saw how reach was not the real problem. Rather, how do you keep the viewers you win? This led me to product design. While VT gave me solid business foundations, its siloed programs limit my ability to explore and answer the questions that are formed beyond my experiences. Meanwhile, NYU allows me to uniquely explore my new academic interests in human-computer interaction, user experience, and marketing while gaining world-class mentorship. From a McDonald's mobile order to new AI tools, human-computer interaction design shape our daily interactions. Courses like user experience design and human-computer interaction will help me explore the psychology behind efficient technology and build the digital tools I care about. Paired with Galton's FYI, or first year experience, seminars, I can tackle my burning questions. What makes us choose Uber over Lyft? How can red signal danger in one context but power in another? I believe understanding how humans interact with technology helps us solve large problems in simple, delightful ways. I'm also excited to learn marketing psychology from experts like Jared Watson to compound the impact of videos or growth teams I lead. At Turbo, I fell in love with writing strategies that started where my own videos did. Audience needs. I tested credibility cues like study tips versus study tips from a 4.0 Harvard student and saw the difference between 300 and 300,000 views. Consumer behavior will deepen my understanding of what makes users stay and help me write more persuasively. More than anything, I am thrilled to build real projects through Gallatin's independent studies. I've wireframed an app for burnt out creators, a digital garden where posting a video grows a flower and unlocks your garden. I'd love to develop this alongside NYU faculty who can push me on both technical execution and design psychology. Only at Gallatin can I find a multidisciplinary curriculum that pushes me to grow as both a marketer and designer. With abundant resources aligning with my interests, NYU is where I hope to spend my next few years. So that was the essay that I ended up writing. It was very design and marketing focused. I'll put the prompt up on the screen somewhere, but the character limit is really, really small. Actually, it's like 2,500 characters max. That is something to keep in mind, but tips for that: write your thoughts first. Write several drafts and then cut things at the end and have like 2 friends review it. I had my friends review it on the very last day. They both went to Stanford, so thankfully it was like pretty helpful and they roasted me. It wasn't the perfect essay. I ended up switching it completely basically from what they told me to. So I think with this, just be honest and tell your story and be authentic. I don't really know, to be honest. I just finished submitting my NYU application at literally 11:59 p.m. I was like frantically typing in my payment thingy. I'm not even joking. That was the hardest essay I have ever written. It was so badly written. that I will be, I have very low expectations for myself now. But having been rejected by several colleges in the past, this is something that I'm extremely scared of. And my GPA is not good. Lots of honesty here. But yeah, I don't know. I was like really, really feeling it today, but hopefully it turns out good. I think my mom praying for me was honestly like one of the best things ever, and I have been forgetting to go to God with my problems or just like my day-to-day life. I feel like I've been very forgetful, but I'm very glad and very grateful for today. And despite the crash outs, and genuinely I don't know why that essay took me like 20 hours to write. I just have a really hard time coming up with a story to tell. I hope it goes well, and I don't know, I'll let you guys know if I get into NYU, but yeah. The transfer essay is a little bit different from the Common App, and when you're applying as a first-year student, it's a lot more direct. And with transfer essays, you're basically just explaining why your current school doesn't work out for you or it doesn't make sense for you, and why you would be a fit at NYU and why it is the only place that like makes sense for you. NYU is the only school that I applied to transfer into. Otherwise, I either would have probably dropped out or maybe stayed at Virginia Tech, but I honestly just really don't like VT. Or I didn't love it. It was great, but I didn't love it. Really, some last minute tips to help you stand out. I applied to transfer into spring semester. I had already finished 2 years of college, but since I'm on a gap semester, my graduation was gonna get pushed back anyways. So I was like, there's no problem if I apply to transfer, and it ended up working out. So I've also heard that spring admissions usually a little bit easier to get in. So if that sounds like you, maybe increase your chances by applying for spring transfer. And then another last minute tip is to start your applications early. I actually didn't procrastinate my essay. I did crash out several times while I was trying to write it because I was deciding what to write about for like the longest time. And again, I changed it so many times last minute. Yeah, besides that, a word of encouragement, whether or not you get into this school, or just know that when one door closes, another one is going to open. If you're someone who previously has trauma with college rejections, let me be your sign of hope. Because I was rejected from my dream school, UVA, or waitlisted about 2 years ago when I was initially applying into college, and then I entered Virginia Tech, which is the school I was at for the past 2 years, which truthfully, I didn't exactly love, which is why I'm seeking transfer. But because I want you guys to have hope and know that if you still try and continue just wanting to learn and like wanting to push yourself, if there's a place that you don't like and you don't like where you currently are, there are things that you can do to change it. And as someone who used to doubt a lot, but put your best foot forward, try your best. As long as you are doing that and putting in your 100%, the rest is all up to God, and He is in control. And as long as you try and show up and do what you're exactly supposed to do, the doors will open up, doors will open, doors will close. And I'm still really grateful for my time at my previous university, but the friends that I've made, memories and all of that. But I'm super excited to embrace this chapter at NYU. So go Violets. Anyways, that pretty much covers my transfer process into this school. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I would love to answer them. Also, feel free to DM or email me if you need anything. We'll leave all the information down in the description. But besides that, I will be posting all about my new experiences at NYU, some new vlogs, life moving into the city as a 20-year-old. And so if you want more of that content, be sure to subscribe to this page, and I will see you guys in the next video.